School doesn't teach you how to succeed, it teaches you how to obey. And most people don't even realize it. You spend 12 years in school and somehow you never learn how money actually works. You can solve for X, but not your taxes. You memorize formulas, but not how to make money. But honestly, it's bigger than money. You're told where to be, when to move, what to think. Bells ring, move. Need bathroom, ask. Think differently, wrong. You're not being trained to think, you're being trained to follow instruction. Think about it. Every single day is already planned for you. What you learn, when you learn it, how fast you learn it. There's an entire system deciding that for you. And most of the information, it hasn't changed in decades, but the world has. Completely. Now here's where the problem starts, because when you leave school, that structure disappears. No one hands you a schedule for success. No one tells you exactly what to do next, and the people who actually win, they're not waiting for the instructions. They move first. They figure things out. They take control. And there's failure. This is where school really messes people up. And in real life, failure is feedback. It's how businesses grow. It's how skills are built. But in school, fail once and you're labeled. You get a bad grade and suddenly that defines you. So what do people learn? Not how to improve, but how to avoid failing at all. And that's dangerous. Because people who avoid failure also avoid opportunity. And then there's creativity. When you're younger, you try everything. You experiment. You build things. You think differently, but over time, that starts to disappear because there's always one right answer, or one correct way, one approved method. So instead of thinking, you start guessing what the teacher wants. And that's the shift nobody talks about. You stop learning and start performing. But the real world doesn't reward that. The real world rewards people who can solve problems, people who can take risks, people who create something out of nothing. Nobody asks, what was your test score? They ask, what can you actually do? Can you build something? Can you sell something? Can you figure things out when there's no clear answer? That's what actually matters. Now here's the part most people don't want to hear. School isn't going to fix this for you. It's not designed to. That's not what it was built for. So if you rely on it to teach you everything, you're going to be unprepared. Not because you're not smart, but because you were never taught how to think independently. So what do? You stop waiting. You start learning things that actually matter. How money works, how to communicate, how to sell, how to build something on your own. But let's be real, this is where most people fail. They hear this, they get motivated for like 2 days, and then they go right back to doing nothing. Because nobody tells you how to actually break out of the system. So let's make it simple. There are 2 types of people. The ones who only learn what they're told, and the ones who learn whatever gives them an advantage. School trains the first type, but the second type, they're building businesses at 16, making money online, learning real skills while everyone else is waiting to be taught. And the difference isn't intelligence, it's ownership. Because the moment you realize this, everything changes. You don't need permission to learn. You don't need a teacher to tell you what's important. You don't need a curriculum to start improving your life. You can pick a skill right now and get better at it faster than school could ever teach you. And here's a reality check. You're already spending hours every day on your phone, on YouTube, on games. So the question isn't, do you have time? It's, what are you doing with it? Because the same device can teach you how to edit videos, how to start a business, how to understand money, how to market something, how to build an audience. For free. That's the part school doesn't tell you. Now listen, I'm not saying school is useless. That's where people get it twisted. School gives you basic tools. Reading, writing, structure, discipline. That matters. But it's not supposed to be your entire plan. The problem is when people treat it like it is. They think, if I just do what I'm told, I'll be successful. That's the lie. Because following instructions only works when someone else already built the path. But what happens when there is no path? What happens when you want something different? What happens when you want more? That's where most people get stuck. Because they were never trained to think for themselves. Let me give you a real example. 2 students graduate. One has straight A's. One barely passed. Who wins? Most people say the A student. But in real life, it depends. Because if the A student only knows how to follow instructions, and the other one knows how to take risks, talk to people, and figure out the second person can win every time. And that should bother you, because it means everything you thought mattered most might not actually matter. Grades, test scores, everything right. None of that guarantees anything. So if that's true, then what actually does? Here's the part nobody tells you. Outgrowing it feels uncomfortable, because the moment you start thinking differently, you realize you're not like most people around you anymore. You start saying things differently. When everyone else is worried about a test, you're thinking how to make money. While everyone else is waiting to be told what to do, you're already doing it. And that creates friction. People might not get it. They might think you're doing too much. They might even try to pull you back into what's normal. Because normal is safe. But normal is also average. And average doesn't lead anywhere special. So now you have a choice. You can stay comfortable, do what everyone else is doing, follow the same path, hope it works out, or you can take control. And yeah, that sounds good in a video, but let's break it down so it's actually real. What does taking control actually look like? It's not some motivational quote. It's small, boring decisions every day. It's choosing to do something even if you suck at it. It's choosing to finish something instead of quitting halfway. That's it. That's the difference. And most people won't do it. Not because it's hard, but because it's consistent. And consistency is where people fall apart. Everyone wants results, but nobody wants the process. Let's talk about skills for a second, because this is where everything changes. There are skills that school focuses on, and then there are skills that make you actually valuable: communication, sales, content creation, problem solving, understanding people. Those are skills that get you paid. Those are skills that open doors. Those are skills that you create your own opportunities. And the crazy part, you can start learning every single one of those today. No permission, no teacher, no classroom. Just you and effort. Let me make this even more clear. If you learn how to edit videos, you can make content. If you can make content, you can build an audience. If you can build an audience, you can make money. That's a real path. And it didn't come from a textbook. Same thing with selling. If you learn how to sell, you can sell a product. If you can sell a product, you can make money. If you can make money, you have freedom. Again, no school required for that. So the real question is, why aren't most people doing it? And the answer is simple. Because it's easier not to. It's easier not to follow the system. It's easier to do what you're told. It's easier to blame school than it is to take responsibility. But responsibility is where power is. The moment you say, my life is on me, that's when things change. Because now there's no excuse. Now it's not, they didn't teach me. It's, I didn't learn it yet. And that's a completely different mindset. Now instead of waiting, you're building. Instead of complaining, you're improving. Instead of watching, you're actually doing. And that's rare. Especially at your age. Which is exactly why it's powerful. Because if you start now, you're not competing with anyone. You're already ahead of them. Think about it like this. Most people don't start thinking about this until they're 20 or 25. Sometimes even never. So if you start at, 15, 16, or any age, you're stacking years of experience before they even wake up. That's not a small advantage. That's a massive one. But don't mess this up by overthinking. This is where people kill their own progress. They try to plan everything perfectly. They wait for the right time. They wait until they feel ready. That's a trap. You're never gonna feel ready. The first video you make will be bad. The first thing you will try will probably fail. You won't know what you're doing. Good. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. Because doing beats thinking. Every single time. You learn faster by taking action than you ever will by sitting around planning. So here's what I would do if I were starting from zero. Pick one skill. Not 5, not 10. 1. And go all in for 30 days. Learn it. Practice it. Apply it. Every single day. No skipping. No excuses. At the end of those 30 days, you'll be better than 90% of people who thought about starting. And that's how you separate yourself. Not by being the smartest, not by being the most talented, but by actually doing the work and sticking with it. Because the truth is, the system isn't holding most people back. Their habits are. Their mindset is. Their lack of action is. School didn't stop them. They stopped themselves. And that might sound harsh, but it's real. And once you accept that, you can change it. So don't wait for school to teach you anything. Don't wait for someone to show you the way. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now. Start small, but start. Because the longer you wait, the further behind you fall. And the people who are winning, they're not smarter than you, they just started earlier and didn't stop. So now it's on you. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Because a year from now, you're either going to wish you started or be glad you did. So prove it. Go down in the comments right now and type one skill you're actually going to start learning. Not thinking about, not maybe later. One skill. Hold yourself to it. And I'm going to be checking. Now, if you made it this far, you're not like most people. So don't watch like everyone else. Build with us. Hit subscribe because this channel is about getting ahead early, not catching up late. So if you're serious about it, join the Discord. That's where people are actually taking action. Not just watching. Links in the description. Now go start.